You tell me when you switch-gate at me.
Okay, I'm going to switch-gate at you right now. You've locked your things on?
Okay, welcome everybody. This is kind of a surprise live stream today. I was not intending to be back on until next Tuesday, as I indicated yesterday when we did part 5 of our episode 17 on Let's Get Real. But anyways, it was really important. The message came very loud and clear this morning from my higher self and soul to kind of share this with you today. And I didn't end up mentioning anything because we've covered a lot of stuff yesterday with part 5 of the ongoing sequence of things that kind of build the plateau for you to kind of move forward in a big way. But anyways, we've been experiencing a lot of powerful energies. So this is why it felt so important today to kind of bring some clarification on it and really give you an understanding of what's happening and what else is unfolding for you. So the energy burst that we are experiencing right now, pretty well everybody to some degree or another are sensing, feeling, and even if it's the energy just around us and we're not personally experiencing it physically, you're still being affected in one way or another. The others that have been more on the fast track and moving forward may have felt much more. Now, in a way, it's a powerful push for us to move forward in a powerful way. In another way, it's actually giving us such a burst right now that it may be bringing up emotions and so forth and feeling that, we're going on overdrive or something of that nature. So on Friday, the 17th, this particular wave started. Yesterday, it reached a new plateau. And today, it's a carry-on, and it will start to dim a little bit tomorrow, the 20th. Today's the 19th. So it's still going very strong at this moment. In fact, yesterday and today are kind of at the same level. Maybe yesterday just a tiny bit more. So this is going to carry on before we go into the next phase. And the next phase, the next wave is coming on the 21st and the 22nd. Those 2 days are really, really powerful. So it's a completely another specialized wave that's coming through. And then the ones after that will be the 28th to the 30th. And then after that, we're looking at May the 1st, which is kind of another, that actually flips us into another state, which is basically embodiment of our reality, embodiment of our essence, of a physical aspiration or aspect of ourselves with our higher self and soul, but to really go into an embraced and what we call embraced embodied state, and be able to move through that in that way. So these are some of the waves that are coming in through right now. And I know in some cases the energetic blasts that we are feeling could be quite intense. But just so that you understand it, it is coming from all directions, from many, many sources. Not only is Gaia itself creating this powerful burst, and now a lot of us that have been following the Schumann resonance frequency that the planet is emitting, which is in conjunction with what our solar system is providing, and also from our galactic counterpart of a streaming of energies that have come through, you have noticed that we have reached really new heights. And these stimulations right now are exactly that, stimulations to create a powerful purge for us. And at the same time, not only a powerful purge, it is also creating an activation within ourselves. So in a way, it may feel like a sandwiching that's going in, because also the other part of the transmission right now is right from the core of our planet. And the core of our planet is our inner planet. We have a powerful crystal in the center of the earth, which is the inner planet that has very powerful fifth dimensional beings, and they have been crafting and working in maintaining the most purest form of 5D, or what we call fifth dimensional consciousness with fourth density. And that is also now beaming up throughout the planet right now, and also merging with the energetics of Gaia's surface dwellers, energetic with all the sentient beings that are on the planet, including all of nature altogether. That is working through our body, illuminating, energizing, and encoding our body to create more alignment. Plus our solar system, or what we call the sun at this point, which is a beautiful high vibrational planet also. It's not just a ball of fire, because it isn't actually, because in fact it is a planet, and this energetic field that we see that looks like burning gases and so forth is just on the surface, and it's above the surface anyways. And its inhabitants there move very quickly and throughly without any issues of having the same experience we may have because of our encodements, where we would generate a tremendous amount of heat and evaporate and take those radiation frequencies, which are just spectrums of light, and would react in a different way, which will change our physical consistency, or what we call our holographic projection. So really what's going on with that is that from a soul perspective, we can move around no problem whatsoever. So we are receiving that energy. We're also a lot of portals, energetic portals that are coming directly from various planets and cluster planets that are serving us at this point in time to assist us in a very powerful way. And then we are getting a powerful column of light that's coming in, which carries tremendous amount of information and frequency and spectrum of light, all to facilitate us through this journey that we're going through at this moment. So as I was saying, some of us may be feeling it quite intense. Some of us may feel that our world is falling apart. In a way, it is just restructuring, breaking down a lot of the rigidity that we have been adhered to. And the only reason that rigidity, not only within ourselves, because that's the first place, the rigidity in ourselves and our locked up patterns and the ways that we've been playing the game, that we've established a sequence that it's been very difficult for us to break through, have now been started to break down. So all of the stuff that's been happening, all the staging that has occurred with all of that is playing out with the lockdown and everything else that is playing out, has put us in the perfect position to have a lot of this go in. Now, at the same time, these energetic pulses are also creating changes in the different structures and the different role players. That means a lot of the people that have in certain groups that have been governing and dictating how the planet operates and how the guidelines of how things would be are also going through a transformation and a destabilization, so that their locked up state is also breaking down. So you will notice a lot of the systems that are very rigid have started for quite some time, and every time we have these bursts, they actually shake it up even further. So the question that comes up is, why all this now? Because we are the most ready now than ever before. And the thing is, with all of this taking place, we may feel a lot of things going on within ourselves, but our intuitiveness, our creator essence, our awareness of our soul, our awareness of our sourceness that is able to create, modify, and adjust in alignment our reality projection and creation and co-creation is coming through much more powerfully. And because we've chosen on a collective scale to move powerfully through this at a a very expanded rate, but also in a very exponential way, that we are at this time really creating the tightness of sequences one after the other. normally these pulses that we would experience now would never come so close. There was always time for integration. Now the integration has to be collapsed and shortened, so each burst just kind of brings us even further, but each burst is actually piggybacking on the next, so that it just keeps the momentum without having the lull. And of course, sometimes we will experience the lull, what seems the lull. That's just the older programs of ourselves, the older versions of ourselves kind of coming back and saying, wait, we want to still be in that old polarity program that we had before, because that we know is safe, that we know we have experience on, and it's not supported right now. So that is the part that gets shaken up. So if you're feeling powerful emotions coming up, allow yourself to feel it. You're not going crazy. It may look that way, may feel that way at times, but that's just an interpretation that's coming in because of the destabilizing aspect that's taking place within ourselves. And what we're looking at the world, our eyes are getting clearer. And with that, we also notice the polarity much more. We also see the things that are less and less aligned. Things that we weren't able to see before, we see it in much more clarity than we were able to before. So in fact, you will notice your preference, your engagement, your focus is shifting to connect with things that are of a higher vibration, which actually creates more confirmation and stimulation on your new version of yourself that's coming through at this point, rather than more distractions. And if you look down, you look at all of that, a lot of our old distractions and patterns have been upsetted by, yes, not only the lockdown, but look at all of the things that we normally used to do to keep ourselves go, busy, busy, busy. And that was used in most of the case with the idea that I have to do all of these things or else I will not be able to move forward, or that the fact that these things were very important. So now there's an opportunity to reevaluate the priority in your life. Also looking at some of the distractions that we had before, and because we've had a disrupt in that, it gives us a time to balance within ourselves much more. As you can see, a lot of the gatherings, including sports events and stuff like that, have been terminated or put on hold for the time being, to give us more room of, rather than being stimulated by those old modalities, to actually give us more time to connect with ourselves. Now, there are people that are still going into the fight and flight and all of that stuff and wanting things to go back. But the thing is, nobody's 100% doing that, because everybody's experiencing the effects of those changes that are happening within you. So when we realize that everybody in one way or another is choosing to align with their truer self, what does that truer self represent? What is it? Is it the life that we created as a facade, as an expression? That part of it may have served and served immensely along the way, but we're bringing that truer self. So that means we're bringing that core essence of sourceness more and more online to be part of your creation, part of your co-creation, part of your adjustment of how you experience this human experience, because it is just that, an experience. As much as this is a video game, this is a game, we're upgrading the game. We're really getting involved with the game from a source code perspective rather than a reactive and passive code aspect that we've done so far. The whole idea of dependency on others and systems are also disintegrating within ourselves. So self-reliance and co-reliance is no longer a necessity, it's a co-collaboration, or what we basically, a collaboration unification component where we work together, but no one is relying on each other, because each one is a beautiful facet of that transmission of that new reality. So what we are doing is we're co-creating with our individualized expressions and our individualized sourceness, with our individualized coding to create this beautiful playground. And what that ends up doing right now, as we're going through this, we're experiencing more peace within ourselves. Because many of us have been feeling state of, how can I say, agitation would be probably a good word, and feeling a misalignment, because that misalignment just felt in a way that you were wasting life, that you were not effective. And it didn't matter how much you did, how much focus you did on do, or following the old protocols that were really creation from the inverted matrix 2D, inverted 3D aspect of life, which was powerfully driven by the ego, that all of that now is getting murky. It's losing the impact that it has before, and we're feeling a sense of peace, so that we're feeling more of ourselves coming online, and that do part is starting to adjust accordingly, so that in fact, whenever we choose to get back online with the way that we were before, it's not going to be the same. Okay? And what drops needs to drop. What gets exposed needs to be exposed. Not the fact that we need to fight any of the systems. We're basically bringing light to the system, love to the system, and creating a transformation through the system. Because if we judge it, then we see it as something wrong, and it gives it power. If we fear something, we empower it. We fight something, we empower it. The system that we have, all the system, the overlaying systems, all the role players, all played an instrumental component of playing out a specific life. And I know that many of us may feel emotionally charged by certain things that we are being exposed to and bringing up to the surface. And it's great that we are seeing all of this, but it's also to understand that where it was coming from was not really in alignment, and that we actually have a choice to shift it all. And we're going to do it together. We're not doing it independently. But it starts for us independently in our own reality, our own construct of how we experience our life, and then expanding it further. But the thing is, as you're working with yourself, you're already expanding. You're already sharing, even without saying a word, energetically, because we're all connected as one. So as I was saying, we start to sense more of a peace and a joy within ourselves, because we are starting to feel more empowered. We do not feel that disempowered, or at least to that same level as before, because this is coming through. So these energetic bursts and so forth are coming through in a very powerful way to stimulate that within ourselves, to really bring that dormant part that we have allowed ourselves to go into the dormant, and even the idea, the agreement that we made to come here and lose our faculties of sourceness within ourselves to play the game. We knew that this was not permanent through this journey. And when I say permanent through this journey, it wasn't for this journey, for the duration, let's call it that, the duration of the journey. It was only for the time it needed for you to get the integration, and also to see all the alignments that needed to take place prior to. So many of us have been working behind the scenes of sort by working on ourselves, and also some have been active in the behind the scene part, but we've already been preparing ourselves to become part of all of this that's taking place at this time by working on ourselves. And when I say working on ourselves, is basically creating transformations within ourselves, looking at all the different programs and belief systems and things that we've taken on as a construct of the human experience, all the stories and everything else that came related to it, all the energetic imprints from it, all the emotional charges from it, and really experiencing it and really creating a transformation. So really the newest part of ourselves is coming through is letting go of the old part. And the old part is everything that we've experienced in the past, everything that we've adopted at any point in time. It doesn't matter if it's this life or multiple other lives before, and that interconnects with the physicalities of reincarnation over and over again. We're talking about the human entities incarnation. We're talking the soul's incarnation, and any agreements that we've created and carried over through the lineage and through the parental genetics that we have taken on. All of that. So it's basically, you've taken all of that, learned from it, gained all the experience from what you needed, and now you're purging it out. And these energies that are coming in are assisting us in a huge way. So really, when we're looking at it, a lot of the things that we've dealt as a powerful restriction and the constructs that in one way or another we're creating and projecting those restrictions. For example, all the laws and the rules and the protocols, what's acceptable, not acceptable, that has been handed down, that are still held into place by various so-called authorities that we've agreed to put in place or supported to be in place, even though you may say, I don't want to support it, but at a level we did. And that was, again, a perfection in itself. However, those restrictions are now being expressed and shown in ways that the openings are there. It's like it's no longer happening behind closed doors. It's happening with the doors and windows open so that we get a glimpse of what's going on. And this is what is being shared right now of what has been playing out, because we are having a view of the open door and windows. And the fact is, we're not even in a position where the windows and doors are open and the lights are out. No, the lights are illuminating also, and they're getting brighter, saying, here we are, see this, see that we are the little puppet players in the back or whatever we were doing, because we want you to see that this power that you've given to this control structure or whatever else that we've been upholding for you is now choosing to allow us to move forward. So therefore, we're making ourselves view so that you can go in an empowered state and then choose what your preference of what you want to play with. But not only that, is choosing, do I consent or don't consent to play the game in that way? So many of us are choosing right now that the old game no longer aligns, no longer feels natural, no longer supports your journey, your purpose. Now, we all started off with the purpose to come here, to learn, to experience, to become more enlightened. But many of us have taken on the role to be a contributor and to be active in the transformational component, to be active in redesigning and opening up archives and archives of true blueprint operating systems. And we start to experience it within ourselves. So, a lot of these restrictions that we were having before, even involved with the alien, not only technologies, but the alien involvement of when they came in, and they only came in at that point in time to offer us an opportunity of this polarity and disconnect and so forth for us to really see what we were able to do. That is no longer in effect. And I will talk about this more tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm also doing another live stream, which was not planned either, which we're going to go through the different steps. So today I'm not going to cover all of that, but I'm just giving you tidbits of that. I really wanted you to understand about the energies that we're going through right now and how it's supporting you in a huge way. So a lot of, like I was saying, a lot of the restrictions that we had before are being removed. And a lot of it is just kind of so illusionary and so transparent that we can move through it much more quickly. But a lot of us are a little dubious to take action in that direction because of the fact that we're still feeling a little bit unstable. And this is what these energies are doing. Yeah, maybe stimulating on stability, but it's also grounding you to yourself and grounding you to these higher states of consciousness. Because true change occurs in a shift in consciousness. And that's what all this organic 3D and organic 5D is about. It's higher consciousness, further awareness of self-empowerment, of source essence, and the true nature of our makeup, the true purpose that we're here, and why we even chose to come here. Because, I mean, we have multitudes, and it's phenomenal how many options we have for incarnation if you choose to do so. There are many playgrounds, many different physicalities and many dimensional expressions in each of these physicalities and playgrounds. So the fact that we're here on planet Earth, this particular playground, in this particular physicality, was a really beautifully co-created and constructed, orchestrated state that you chose to come in. Because you knew he's playing out now, regardless of when you came in, was absolutely perfect for what you wanted to achieve at this time. And now, many of you have taken on a new role to really bring things up, to be that part of that facilitation. So, a lot of the restrictions we were feeling has come down and we're feeling much more supported. So the basic original modifiers of this game are stepped out. And all that's left now, stepped out, assisted out, whatever you want to call it, a combination of both. Now there is more supportive, not only energies, but supportive beings, brother, sister souls, that are here to assist us. Now, the assistance that they're providing is not overriding what our capacities are and what we are here to do. That means they are not going to eliminate anything. They're only going to support us to stay on track. So it's not about pushing you back and keeping you stuck. It's assisting you to move forward. So any obstacles that comes in, and that's what a lot of these co-created streams and portal openings and energetic channels coming through, and a lot of other facilitators that are receiving these codes within themselves and activating it through their body and transmitting it through the planet, is all part and parcel of that. There, you know, even not to push this in a big way, but a lot of our brother sister souls are in powerful large ships that are monitoring the planet activity and the pulses of energy that are going on. And this is also facilitating in a way where any pulses that need to be activated at a certain area, it is being directed in that way for the very purpose to keep them on track. So if any distraction comes in, a scrambling frequency comes in, so that light quotation? Quotient? Is that right? Did I say that right? Quotient? Yes. Anyways, I'll use that word. Quotient gets to really come in. So as you can see, the other thing is, on the planet, the level of war activity, in a sense, civil and otherwise, have decreased. And the reason they have decreased is because those areas and the fact of everything that's playing out globally is bringing people closer together so that we are not in the conflict, which was an illusionary conflict. And when I say illusionary conflict, I'm meaning that there was this stimulation of that we need to conflict with each other, that we cannot trust each other, that we are not looking after each other. But that was that polarized, inverted matrix, inverted 3D, 2D. Because if you're looking at things like war and any form of conflicts, you know, it was really high-powered stimulation from the inverted matrix, because the inverted matrix, like I said, worked backwards. What was this backwards all about? Instead of creating expansion and enlightenment, it was doing the opposite. Basically, instead of evolving, we were de-evolving. So if we kept going in and choosing new flavors of enemies and going into war and going into, abuse of one another, then this state adhered. The inverted matrix, the 2D and inverted 3D, that has been really our experience. So the whole idea of shifting from 3D to 5D is really shifting from 2D, inverted 3D, inverted matrix, to organic matrix, to organic 3D and organic 5D. And all that eventually becomes organic 5D anyways. So all what people call manipulation has been cleared out, so that the only facets we have left is purging this out of our operating system. So it's basically the collective cluster and within ourselves. And of course, ego playing with ego. So this, you will notice that a lot of the warlike conflicts, or whatever you want to call it, have lowered. Meaning there's less and less of it. There's actually more focus on how can we take care of each other, in a sense. Maybe not to the degree that we are heading towards, because we're working towards that, but a lot more than ever before. And if you really look at it, this is the first time in a very long time that we have this amount of what we call peace. We're not quite all there, but we are at a higher level than ever experienced before. So this gives us an indication of what's going on. So when we're looking at this so-called VC virus, whatever you want to call it, that's playing out at this time, we co-created it to give us the opportunity to slow down, to look at ourselves, to work on ourselves, to be able to break out of the patterns, but at the same time also to spend time to do research and to connect with ourselves, to actually see the game for what it is, and also to understand that the game is of our redesign. It's not out of our hands. So the supporting, if you want to call it energies, and our brother sister souls are doing their best to assist us without taking away any of our empowered state. So if it's going to disempower you, we will move the highest peaks of this disempowerment so that we have an opportunity to focus more on the empowerment. So right now, the duration of what we're experiencing, it doesn't matter, okay? I mean, I know that there's a lot of talk about it being fake, which has a component of that, being that it was manufactured. Of course it has a component of that. That in somehow it's to dominate and create martial law and create a one world governance. Or those may have been and have been part of the back end part of saying, okay, this is where we want to move on. But we also see the other side. The other side is that more of us are looking and seeing more in depth what's going on, seeing behind it and seeing more clearly, so that we actually say, oh, it's my choice, our choice, to participate or not, to consent or not, to empower or not. So as long as we're going into fear, we empower it. We go into love and peace, we're disempowered. So this is the thing, to see all the agendas, and yes, if we're looking back and saying, okay, this has been predicted for a long time, and the possibility and the way it was shaping from a long period of time, over 100 or so years, if not more, that we're going to roll out this dominance, roll out this control, roll out, creating a slave race and all of that, has carried out all this time. But we have made a collective agreement that started the different phases. And the first phase was in 87, the second phase 2012, and now we're in the third phase. And we have made a complete, clear determination that we are not engaging there. It's going to be playing on the fringes sort of thing, but only to keep us stimulated so that we continue to empower. We're not here to say, okay, the world around me has to change for me to have a better world or to have a better life. It's not about that. It's about you creating that so-called better life. And that better life has nothing to do with the programs and belief systems that we have been conditioned to accept. That better life equates to having stuff, having certain relationships, having certain, power over another. Those were illusionary in the inverted matrix, 2D, inverted 3D construct. It has nothing to do, because once you focus on really what means or has importance to you or has empowerment with you, you see it's nothing like that. It has nothing to do with stuff or certain circumstances. What we are doing right now, we are choosing to collaborate. We are choosing to work in unity. We're choosing to create that new world, because the new world's there. Okay? The platforms are there. The rolling out is the part we're doing. And we're doing it together, collectively. So even the idea that anything that came through right now was to wipe out the planet, wipe out a huge chunk of humanity, it doesn't matter how that was rolled out. You could see that that is not the case. And the reason it's not the case is because it wasn't necessary, not in this fashion, but not necessary for us to go down that path before we made the change. Because we're making the change in a different way. We're really now using all of these things that are being offered to us, which we are calling in, okay, from a super conscious level. It's not like it's just thrown at you, like, take it, accept it, that's the only way we can do this. No, we're saying, okay, I'm calling in for supportive, energetic encodements, activations, and so forth, so that I can now be able to shift more powerfully and then co-create on track in an aligned state then that relates to more where we are choosing to design this world to be. Okay? And that will change even our thought forms, the focus of our energy. Like I said, right now you're also shedding the importance. You're looking at what's really important, where your focus needs to be. And to pay attention also to the focus of how much of your focus is of the past and a projected fear of the future, because that's the part that you're also purging out. Because realistically, if you are creating a new world, the new world is created only in this moment. Because anything that you bring in from the past, unless you're bringing it up to the past to purge it, to take whatever is necessary and purge it, that is only going to be part of the building material of your current reality. And that was created very much in the inverted matrix, 2D, inverted 3D. And that's not what we are here. The New World does not have any of that. The New World only supports organic 3D and 5D. Now, the other thing of all this is playing out right now, it's also giving Gaia the opportunity to make some substantial adjustments at this point, energetically, and also to create a clearing of the amount of, how can I say, pollution? It's not even the word for it, but the amount that we're putting into our environment and so forth, and also to slow us down so that these adjustments can take place rather than the hectic, busy, crazy, in old technology usage that we had before. So it's also giving us an opportunity to be more in our forefront, seeing the skies clearer, feeling the energies around us, becoming more vivid, allowing all these adjustments to take place through us also, because we feel that cleansing happening to us too. You had a question?
Yes, Terry's just asking, by doing these collective meditations in certain hours, putting out positive thoughts, are we collectively quickening this process of ascension for the whole?
Well, yes, as long as you're going in clear, and this I was going to talk about that next. When we are doing these collective meditations, the reason we're choosing certain times, because at certain times it seems to be a little bit more powerful because of the way things are sequenced in the movement of and location of the planet, in conjunction with everything else that's going on. But it's also because a lot of people agree on those times. And say, especially the last 2 days that has been coming through. So part of it was yesterday, but today is one of the key days that a lot of people are coming together, and some tomorrow too, that are going in and aligning and sending out what you can call positive energy, but you're basically, the key is to pulse unification and love. Okay? So what happens is, in that high vibration of unification and love, oneness, 0 point, where it doesn't have potential, polarity, not having the polarity component, you're basically creating a powerful source essence modification. So coming together is very powerful. Now, if we're going to come together and say we got to do this to change the world because the world's a mess, okay, or the fact that we are uncomfortable with what's going on right now, it doesn't have the same effect, and sometimes it could actually kind of nudge it the other way. Now, of course, there's so much powerful energies coming in, it's not going to be effective in the way of nudging it backwards. If we're going in with the intent, we are here together to create this transformation. We do it with love. We do it with oneness, unification, neutrality, and we are supporting this part to come through our experience. Then it's much more powerful. So you're not negating anything. You're just blasting everything, and everything adjusts accordingly. What needs to be emphasized will emphasize. What needs to drop, lower, or modify so that it becomes more in alignment, it will do so. But you're not going in with the intent, and this is the thing is, you don't want to go in with the intent, okay, we got to fix the world, we got to fix ourselves, because then we have a judgment and we see an idea that there's something wrong with what exists. We got to see the perfection, how everything is. And in that perfection, we are now upgrading that perfection to be more in alignment of where we are in our state of consciousness, to create a more of a powerful alignment with the playground, with the new us coming in. So what we're doing is we're aligning with the upgraded playground, but we're also, the playground's aligning with us. So we're getting, it's an equal exchange in that regard. So the answer is, if you're going in with the intent to emanate love, peace, and not because it doesn't exist, but just because that's a beautiful offering coming from the core of yourself, then yes, you're really creating a powerful impact. And even if you're going to measure the Schumann resonance, which has already been peaking tremendously, with us coming together with that intent, okay, it's going to be even much more effective and powerful. So it may even raise it, but at the same time, we will be more receptive of it. And whatever is we're doing in that front, it will create the adjustments necessary at this point in time. So when we're looking at it and say, you know, are we at a point of destruction? Are we at a point where if we don't change our ways, we're not going to make it? That is not the case. What we're doing is we're creating adjustments because it's not the demise of planet Earth. Yes, of course, we cannot continue the way we were because planet Earth is not going to support us there. Our very essence, our sourceness is not going to support us there anymore because we've passed that part. We don't need it anymore. But we are also given the opportunity to transmute all of that so that we're going through. So is it, do we have a chance of saying, well, if we don't do this now, it's the end of the world. If we don't do this, we're going to go to a path of non-return. We're not really pushing ourselves in that way. And we don't have to go in that fear. You're not going to go in, okay, I got to do this because or else. No. You do this because you're going to accentuate. And this applies to everybody, not just the answer I'm providing. This accentuates the movement that we're doing, the changes that we are choosing, the part of us that is really creating this and co-creating this new planet, playground, and human experience. So, in saying all of that, we have a guided meditation this evening in our time, Eastern time. It starts at 10:45 p.m. Well, the reason we're starting at 10:45 p.m. because the actual meditation will start at 11 is the first 15 minutes we're just going to bring everybody into alignment and give us a chance to get settled in and comfortable. This guided meditation is a unity meditation. It's us coming together to harness the highest aspects of ourselves and to beam the highest aspect or the highest sourceness of love, unity throughout the planet and everyone involved. And the meditation, the unity meditation, is to align, connect, and create. So to align ourselves in that new world, align ourselves as the new who we are, to connect at that level, connect that sourceness within ourselves, and then create from that level. And so that's what it's about. It's a very powerful, which we are doing together. I'm only the hosting and guiding through it, but you guys are doing it together. So the more of us that come together to unite to do that, the more powerful it is. Now I know for some people it's going to be in the middle of the night and so forth, but at the same time, if you can't attend live, because this is going live, then the replays will be there, the energies will be locked in, it doesn't matter when you do it. And I would suggest to repeat it regularly in the next little while, because each time it not only enforces you, activates more of you and using the energies coming through more of it, but we're also stimulating the planetary adjustments. So that means at this point we will be emanating a tremendous amount of love and appreciation and towards this unification that we're coming together for, to create this beautiful alignment, connection, and creator essence coming into the beautiful dance. So, is there anything else you wanted to share about that? Any questions or anything of that nature?
No, just that it's going to be
10:45 Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Or because someone just asked if that was PST, but it's CST.
PST. Yeah.
I don't think so. Just that we're going to be here, just doing it. And
Yes. So today, this particular transmission, live stream, was not planned, or the meditation wasn't planned, but both of them became very clear early this morning at my point of arise and in my meditation, that this is what we needed to talk about today, and this is what we needed to do today because of everything else that's coming in. So if you choose to participate with us, just be with us at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and if you're
11.
10:45 Eastern Time, which works out about 7:45 in PST time. And of course, it depends on where you are in Europe or whatever it is. Then you got to go either forward or backwards. And if you're in Hawaii, of course, it's like 6 hours backwards and so forth. So it's all at different times for wherever you are. But we intended to create this so that you can utilize it together. Because what we're doing is we're coming together to really utilize this unification energy that we have, co-created, to align ourselves, connect ourselves, and to really activate our creator essence. What to expect from this? Have no expectations, but at the same time, realize that this will very much facilitate you and will facilitate globally the whole planet, the playground itself. And all of the structures that are of extreme polarities will experience some adjustments, will experience some stability so that bring it more in alignment. Is it just going to do this? No. And that's not the intent. But the intent is, let's facilitate together. So by doing this, we're going to do that. So at this point, I will not share any further. Tomorrow, did we say we were going to do it at 4 p.m. also?
Didn't say.
Okay, we didn't say, but I think we'll aim for 4 p.m. Eastern time for tomorrow to go through some of the extra stuff. And then we'll go back to the regular schedule, which will be Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So this, look at this. You received yesterday's live stream. You're receiving 2 today. You're receiving 1 tomorrow being Monday and another one on Tuesday before you have one little break on Wednesday. And then we have Thursday and then Saturday again. So we have to go with the flow of whatever's necessary and beneficial depending on what's coming through. So this is why we had these two. Go ahead.
Sharon is asking, is this meditation the same one Bruce Lipton is talking about? No, but we wanted to do it at the same time because the more coming together, regardless of what meditation you're doing, is going to be beneficial. It'll be an extra boost of us all doing it together.
Correct. So whatever you feel gravitated to, most of the meditations I host and do at this point in time uses the highest level of consciousness possible. I'm not saying the other ones have a lower consciousness, but you can feel which one resonates more for you, or do both. I mean, I would suggest you do both, but then it's up to you what you want to do. But the one that we're doing is to piggyback with that and to use because of the people coming together, but we're bringing in the highest level of intention. So we're basically the meditation, the guided unity meditation is using a self-empowered state, because we're going to bring in our soul, we're going to really ramp up our human entity part, we're going to ramp up our body's consciousness, we're going to ramp up our source essence, and then we're going to connect with the very powerful energies that are coming through, and then we go through that state of doing the meditation, that projection as the alignments and connection and creator aspects of creating that new world or bringing that new world more in alignment. But we're doing everything in an empowered state. We're not doing anything where we have a reliance for that to create our world. No, we're coming in an empowered state. This is what I'm saying. You guys will come into an empowered state because we're going to do it in that fashion. Okay? Is there anything else?
No, just I think people can.
Just check online around the timepiece. I know on the chat someone posted the World Time Buddy. I must see if I can move that link to
if you can copy
to
and paste
YouTube
it on
people
on the various ones.
And
So the post for that will go out shortly because we were having a bit of a challenge to post both of them. They didn't want to recognize both, so that meant I have to post them one after the other. So as soon as this is done, a few minutes later, I should be able to repost a new one. Usually there has to be a little bit of time in between. If I had to post them 2 in the same day at the same time, or I mean at different times, but on different, then I would have to set it up on separate platforms, and I didn't want to cause any confusion. I'd like everybody to stay on the same platform using the same links and whatever else so that it's easier to find. So I would recommend share as many people as possible. The more of us coming together, I mean, will be very powerful for you. It will be very powerful for any participant, and it will be very powerful for the planet. But at the same time, I'm not saying this is the ultimate over anybody else's. I'm just saying, I provide what I provide because if you feel aligned with it and you feel that this is the one, because we did a global meditation a few weeks ago, I guess right now, 2, 3, or
Probably more than that.
maybe, yeah. It's been a little while ago. And on 4/4, yes, it was on April the 4th. So today being the 19th, so it was about just over 2 weeks ago. And again, we came in in a state where we came in a very empowered state. We were not in saving mode or asking for assistance. We were going in co-creation mode, where we weren't in disempowered and being afraid that we had to get rid of what was playing out on the planet. No, we came in a very empowered state. So we're going to replicate something of that nature, but with the theme that we are doing now. So anyways, I look forward to see you in a few hours. It is just about 5 p.m. now, so 5 hours and 45 minutes from now, we will connect again online, and we'll get to do our beautiful meditation. Thank you.